Hey friends, what's up? Philip here with Points of Philip, and I actually just have a question. What if I could tell you that there was one card that could grow with you from the very beginning of your credit journey and keep you earning points back, cash back cheaply the entire journey of your credit card career? Would you be interested in something like that? Well, if you are, you might be interested in checking out the Quicksilver card from Capital One. So, first of all, this one is an older card. It's kind of what they used to look like. They've since made it look a little bit nicer, but it's also my oldest card. And there's a reason for that, and we're going to get into that. So, the Capital One card can actually work with you and do very, very well for you if you're someone who's just building your credit, just starting out in life. But it also can be really good for you if you're someone who is looking to rebuild your credit as well. So we're going to take a look at the benefits and the potential shortfalls or pitfalls of Capital One and see what we can do with it. So go ahead and get into it. Before we do, I want to ask you guys to like and subscribe. Doing that helps me and YouTube know that what I'm doing is helpful for people like you. And of course, by doing that, that means that more and more people are able to watch this content, something I really appreciate. So thanks so much again, and let's get into the video. So Capital One, first of all, has 4 cards with the Quicksilver name. So the basic premise of the Quicksilver card is it earns 1.5% cash back on every single purchase with no limits, no caps, and, well, no foreign transaction fees, which that actually will come in handy later. Now, the Quicksilver card, first of all, if you are someone who is rebuilding your credit or building your credit, you don't have much of a credit history to speak of, then you're pretty much looking at 3 of the possible cards, and that depends on where you are in your journey. So if you're not able to get any cards, let's say you do have a bad credit history and you're not able to get anything, well, Capital One is willing to give you 2 options, one of which is infinitely better than the other. So if you have the Quicksilver secured card, which is no annual fee, but it does get you 1.5% cash back, and then you have a refundable $200 minimum deposit. And so when you get approved for the secured card, you have the ability to pay Capital One $200 or more, depending on how much they're willing to expose themselves, right? You give them that as a deposit for the card, and that whatever that deposit is your credit line. And so essentially, basically, this works out well for Capital One because, well, they don't have any risk, which means they're going to be more likely to give you access to that credit. So this is rated for fair credit, and so that's actually important to note that fair essentially here means bad credit, right? And so that's an option. However, if you don't want to do a deposit, it will still cost you. Now, they do have a Quicksilver One card, and this Quicksilver One card, first of all, gets you the same 1.5% cash back, but it comes with an annual fee of $39, and it still has the same credit rating. And so, presumably, if you're capable of being approved for the secured card, then you could be approved for this Capital One card or the Quicksilver One card, which is unsecured. And so now with the secured Quicksilver card, eventually, after you pay back of several months, maybe 6 months to a year, they will refund you that deposit, and then essentially it will transition to a secured card or unsecured card. Sorry. But the Quicksilver One card will always be unsecured. You won't get a deposit back. You'll just be paying $39 each month, or each year rather, you hold the card. And so one of the reasons why I would say avoid the Quicksilver One version of the card is because if you're going to be building your credit history, you want to have a card that you have for years and years and years. For example, I've opened 20 credit cards this year. However, my average age of credit is still about two years and 9 months. And the reason why is because I've had this card for about 15 years now. And so having this card is really solid because what that does, it enables me to be able to, essentially keep my average age of credit relatively high compared to what it should be down the road. And so that becomes more expensive. So $39 may not seem bad for this year, but in year 15, when you're just trying to keep that average age of credit up, that $39 might be enough to try to convince you to close it, which you still can do. It's just not as optimal as if you were able to keep it open, in which you would be able to do if it were no annual fee. Now, let's take a look at the other one. So we have Quicksilver Rewards for good credit. So this one is essentially rated for good credit. So a step up from fair, right? So if we click into that, we're looking at good credit is I have not declared bankruptcy or defaulted on a loan in the past 5 years. I have a credit card or loan and have not been more than 30 days late on any payment in the last year. So good credit is that's what the thing is. Now, their excellent credit, in order to get to the next tier, is defined as this. I've never declared bankruptcy or defaulted on a loan. I haven't been more than 60 days late on any credit card, medical bill, or loan in the last year, and I've had a loan or credit card for 3 years or more with a credit limit above $5,000. And so that kind of gives you an idea of what Capital One is looking for. Now, if you are in that excellent credit rating, Capital One really wants you for this card. And so let's take a look at how they've outfitted just the regular Quicksilver Rewards credit, not for good credit or for the secured card. So this one here is, first of all, unlimited 1.5% cash back, no annual fee for the one for good credit either, for that matter. But this one actually gives you a limited time offer of a $100 credit to use towards flights, stays and rental cards booked through Capital One Travel, plus earn a $200 cash bonus when you spend $500 on purchases within the first 3 months from account opening. And then, so you can also earn unlimited 5% cash back on hotels, vacation rentals, and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. And to be fair, that's true of any Quicksilver card. Now, the other cool thing about the Quicksilver card, the regular one for excellent credit, is it gives you 0% APR for 15 months, and then it's a variable APR after that. So anywhere between 19.5 to 29.5 in between right there. And so, basically Quicksilver, they have a large line. Now, the reason I love this card is because, well, it was my first card that actually gave me rewards. And so this was nice because it's a far sight better than some of those other credit cards, say with Credit One, which, the X5 card is like their premium tier card, and it gives you some things, but it doesn't give you a lot of things, and it costs you a lot. Whereas this card is the first real card that I had that actually allowed me to earn cash back, but also didn't cost me an arm and a leg. I haven't paid an annual fee on this card since I've gotten it, right? It's a free card every year. I keep it open, and I, put, once, a bill on it or something once every couple months, and then keep that one open. So this is a great card. Now, it can grow with me. So let's take a look at a competing card called the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Now, the Chase Freedom Unlimited gives you 1.5% cash back. And now it also gives you 1.5x on Chase Ultimate Rewards. But if your goal is cash back, then there is no distinct difference between the Quicksilver card or the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Now, the Chase Freedom Unlimited is widely heralded as being an excellent catch-all card because of, well, Hyatt's connection with Chase. So, Capital One Quicksilver 1.5x cashback is solid. Now, they do have a different kind of cashback or kind of catch-all card, and that's the Venture card. They also have the Venture X, which costs $395. The Venture card costs $95. And so that would get you 2 points per dollar. However, if you were to actually cash out those 2 points per dollar, it works out to be about 1.5 cents cash back. And so basically, having a no annual fee card and just doing cash back is not bad. Now, here's where the versatility kicks in. Let's say that you are only cash back and you don't want to ever pay any annual fees. Do you have a way to ever earn more than 1.5x? And the answer is yes. You can get the Saver card. Now, the Saver card earns you 3% cash back on entertainment purchases, as well as dining and grocery purchases, as well as some select streaming. And so this is a very versatile card, but it only gets you 1% back on everything else. And so you can actually partner the Quicksilver card with the Saver card for an amazing cashback strategy that has an annual fee of $0. And so that's going to be the huge part here, right? $0 annual fee, 2 solid cards that are earning you 3% cash back on some key categories, 1.5% cash back on everything else. Now, what if you decide that you want to get involved in points and miles? Do you have an option? Absolutely. So if you have any Venture card, that can be the Venture X, the Venture card, or even the Venture One with no annual fee, you can actually convert that cash back to Venture miles. And that way you can actually send those Venture miles out to Japan Airlines. I prefer hotels. You can convert them to Air France business class seats. You can do a lot of things with your Capital One Venture miles. In fact, I just recently emptied out my Capital One mile stash by converting to there was a special bonus for Capital One miles with Virgin Atlantic, right? And so I was able to get 30% more miles by transferring that to Virgin, and so I emptied out my Capital One stash because I know I'm going to be booking a trip to England next year, and so I'm happy with that change. But let's say that you have been swiping for years and years with a Quicksilver card, and then somewhere along the way you join the Saver card. Now, let's say that you haven't actually redeemed any of that cash back for a statement credit yet. Well, if you get the no annual fee Venture 1 card, you can then actually take all of that cash back you've earned over the last couple of years of spending and convert it all to a points-based system. Now, this card is not for spending, right? The Venture 1 card only earns 1.25 points per dollar, but it has no annual fee. And so for no annual fee, you can have a cashback setup that then becomes a miles setup. And so you're earning 1.5x on everything else, 3x on dining, entertainment, and a bunch of things. And then with the Venture 1 card, you're able to transfer those out to any transfer partner that Capital One has at the same rates. Now, this is different from any other program, right? So Citi, they allow you to earn cash back, but you actually have to basically, if you only have, say, the Citi Custom Cash, you can make transfer partners, but you have less transfer partners to do. In order to be able to get full access to the transfer partners, you have to get the Citi Strata Premier, and that's $95 a year. So Capital One offers full points conversions for no annual fee. Now, let's say you get a little bit better. You get that job, you get a raise, things are looking really good, and you want to start traveling more. Well, you can get the Venture card that earns 2x points per dollar, and you can kind of retire your Quicksilver card like me, right? I didn't close it, I just put it off to the side. Now, my new one is, basically go-to is the Saver card and the Venture card. So I upgraded my Venture 1 to a Saver card, upgraded my Walmart card, became another Quicksilver, which I upgraded to my Venture card. And so between those two things, I have the Capital One Duo. Now, this is really solid because now, over the time that I've been using Capital One cards, my credit limit has increased dramatically through use and paying my cards on time. Now, I have one of the most sought after Capital One setups in the world, like credit card setups, bar none, right? There are reasons to say that you should probably get the Capital One Duo over, let me see if I can put it together here, the American Express trifecta, right? So the American Express trifecta has an annual fee of $895 with a platinum card, an annual fee of $325 with a gold card, and then no annual fee for the Blue Business Plus. And so in order to get all of that, you're paying $95 for these two cards. Now, one of the things I love about these cards is they're both MasterCards, and they both have no foreign transaction fees. And so if you're someone who, first of all, is trying to approach the points and miles space, let's say you really do want those, let's say you want those business class flights to Paris on Air France, right? You can make that happen with this card setup. You don't have to pay $1,000 a year in annual fees. You can pay $95 a year and have this setup. Now, if you want to upgrade even further, let's say you became a boss, right? Let's say that you own your own business, you're doing well. You can upgrade or even just open the Venture X card. Now, the Venture X card has $395 of annual fee, but it gives you $300 in travel credit each year and then 10,000 points each year after you pay your annual fee. And so it gives you $5 in value after you spend $395. Like it gives you $5 above and beyond the money that you spent. And so that can grow with you. So basically what we've seen is that Capital One can be your end-all be-all bank from the start of your credit journey all the way up until you become the big boss, taking your wife or your significant other on business class flights to Europe or Asia or anything else. And no other bank can do that, right? No other bank can allow you to keep the same cards and do so many different things with them, from earning cash back on no annual fee setups to being able to travel the world in style with points and lounge access. Capital One is it. Anyway, so basically that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about the Capital One Quicksilver card because, well, there's lots of different ways to join into this ecosystem, but Capital One can treat you well if you throw them money, right? You have to, a lot of people like to say they're bad because they give you low credit limits when you start out, and that's true, right? If you want a $500 credit limit, Capital One is your man, right? But if you use it responsibly, if you keep using it and use it as your only card and you pay it off on time, Capital One is really easy to grow with, and it can grow into your kind of thing, your kind of preferred organization, your preferred bank. And there's a lot of reason to do it because they have no foreign transaction fees, which means every time I travel, I'm bringing these cards with me. I may use my American Express cards when I'm at home, but every time I'm travel, these are the two cards in my wallet. And that's just the way it is, right? Because I can earn very well with those point earning cards. Anyway, thanks again for joining me. If you do like any of this and you want to open up your own card, there's a link in the description below. That will actually help out the channel if you are approved. So thank you so much in advance. And well, I can't wait to see you guys until next time. Bye.